Okay. Hello, guys. I'm Lakshika. Bitbull is Priyeshu, and Bloodless is Sajal from Define team. And we just want to do a casual conversation today, like tell you what we have built till now, what is the future plan. And we saw that there are a couple of messages on social media when people were using our product, they were facing like some problem, they were not aware what RFQ is, how they can check whether the trade is passing through RFQ. So we just thought we'll do a casual conversation and record this, and if after that we'll open the floor to our listeners, if they have any questions, we are happy to answer that also, but we'll try to cover as many questions as possible. So yeah, I think the one question that I think I also faced when I interacted with Define interface is like, where is RFQ? Are you like we have marketed a lot about RFQ, but if anyone goes to our website, how they can see like where is the RFQ and whether their trade is going through RFQ?
Great question, Lakshika. I think we'll probably demo the RFQ flow here. But before that, I would like to ask Sajal, who is leading the product for Define, what made, why is Define even introducing RFQ? What is RFQ and how does it even work?
Hi, thanks, Vishu. I think the main answer to this question is basically this model enables the user to get the best price. I think the key user flow which we want on our platform is we want to be an exchange, and our primary user is the user who is coming to our exchange to swap tokens. Now, RFQ as a functionality enables the swapper to get the best price. We do it, the way it is designed is that it does not have any sort of impermanent loss. The fee is the lowest in the industry. You are directly trading with proactive market makers who are providing the best price for that particular token at that point of time. So yeah, in essence, this model behind the curtains is just a way to enable the users to get best price, best bang for their buck. They want to go from token A to token B, and we want to enable the most efficient way for them to take this path.
From what I understand, there are actually two advantages. One, for the advantage for the user is very clear, that the user is getting the best trade prices possible, and the trade is getting filled by the market makers. I think the second advantage comes to the exchange itself, because exchanges have been in the DeFi 1.0 era, have been bleeding out rewards, including Define, in terms of farming rewards, and to compensate users impermanent loss who have been providing liquidity. So we had to we still do have to shell out a lot of tokens to make sure that the liquidity is still there. The RFQ model is actually like assetless. Like they say, Uber is a world's largest cab company, which actually doesn't own a cab. So I think like in the future, the same model or the same analogy can be applied to the exchanges also. The largest exchange could be someone which actually doesn't own liquidity, but is actually the interface to access the world's top liquidity market makers of sorts. And the clear advantage from this I see coming is that there would be no need to like inflate the token too much and protect the exchange from mercenary farmers, and doing all this while giving the users the best price.
Yeah, absolutely. The exchange derives its benefits. Exactly. We want to provide the best feature for our users, and meanwhile design it in a sustainable way so that the exchange can also function in a much more way. Earlier, as Pete mentioned, we had to compensate for impermanent loss to LPs, which is not really a scalable solution, especially in the way it is designed right now.
So, do you think like moving to RFQ will actually reduce our token inflation over the period of time, and will there would be less rewards and more volumes? How do you see this progressing over the period of time?
Absolutely. So I think the way this model is designed is right. So the right now for a liquidity pool, right, in a traditional AMM XY equal to K model, you need to incentivize the LPs to provide the liquidity because impermanent loss is a big risk. And in a real idealistic world, the fee generated through the pool should be enough to incentivize the LPs. But what we have seen is a lot of cannibalizing happening between the exchanges, as well as the fee being generated not being big enough. So the protocols need to make their own emissions, burn their own tokens to make sure that the LPs are incentivized. And the other part is that in the long term, the LPs will only be incentivized by the fee which is generated by this protocol. So the fee for this protocol in an AMM will always be higher. Right? This is the underlying design of the structure wherein you can't make the fee lower because the fee has to incentivize the LPs who are dealing with impermanent loss. So this is a design. It is a very good design in a lot of ways, but we believe that this is not the most efficient design. Concentrated liquidity was obviously one way to move things forward in that direction, as well as RFQ. So RFQ, basically, we are moving in such a way wherein we don't need to incentivize anyone. So theoretically, even realistically, we don't need to really give out any rewards in our defined tokens or for any protocol. They don't need to give out their own tokens as rewards. So that makes the emission side very low. So now, as we already did it a couple of weeks back, the fee which is being generated by the protocol, we will use that fee to buy back and burn our tokens. The emissions are going to significantly reduce. So that will hopefully create a positive feedback cycle rather than a negative feedback cycle, which was created over the last 1.5 years. So I believe this is a good way in terms of the feedback cycle which should be created, as this model is much more efficient that way.
Got it. So if I have to summarize, in the current model, because there was impermanent loss and the revenue that we were generating from fee was less, so the emission was high. So basically, emission was much more than the fees that we were generating. And with the RFQ model, since there will be no impermanent loss, we can take lesser fees and distribute the lesser fee to the users, but they will get better trades. And this is a scalable model.
Yeah. Rightly put, right? When the users have to pay lower fee, the protocol is still making more money net.
More revenue, yeah.
More revenue, sorry.
Yeah. Got it. So now the next question is, like, we understand the benefit of the RFQ model. As a trader, I just want to I will just go to the platform which is giving me the better price and I know is secure. So coming back to define, like, if you can tell me how can I go to define and access RFQ model. And the second thing is, if you can talk a little bit about the security, whether your RFQ is audited, not audited. So yeah, if you can just shed some light on that.
RFQ, I think, got audited twice. Once by Coilhash and once by, I think the name of agency.
Zelic.
Like, yeah, it's a new agency, but a very good, very sharp guys. So it's been audited twice, and we also had our internal security consultants audited. So I would say it's been professionally audited thrice outside the team. So looks pretty good security wise, and very good market makers have also decided to integrate with it. So I mean, they do their own checks as well before integrating any DApp. So we are good in that sense. So coming to the usage of RFQ, I would say that the usage is very sleek and it appears right on the Define Exchange website. It looks like exactly like the AMM swap, and most of the time users won't even know like if the trade is going via RFQ or something else. And all the user has to do is like put in the trade of what they want to do, and then the rest of it will be taken care by the system itself. For example, let's say if someone wants to swap 100 Matic to USDC, so we can see that we are getting around, like, if we sell 100 Matic, we're getting around One second. $816, and this particular icon can show the flow, and as you can see that the trade is going via RFQ. 100% of the trade is going via RFQ. So the trade is going to be actually filled by the market maker, and this is how it's going to happen. Now let's just try this swap. Now I'm just approving the transaction on my MetaMask. Okay, so the Matic have been okay. You can see now my USD balance has increased and the Matic balance has decreased, and the swap is done. So this is very easy to use, exactly like any other AMM. You won't even know, like,
Hello? Yes?
no learning curve involved in using this.
Yeah.
Just you get better prices.
Yeah,
Page, you can talk
and
about the refresh button next to
I'm
swap as
already
well,
talking to
and
someone
getting
from
asked
Newton
for a
School.
code. Perhaps that might be useful for the users.
Yeah, I'm already on a call. Just
Wait when you
drop me a
perhaps,
text.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want,
So we can see that the timer is being expired. When this timer expires, the code automatically refreshes to get a new code. And else you can just click on refresh button yourself and get a new code.
right.
Got it. And what are the immediate next steps? If you can just shed some light on that. Like, we have seen your roadmap, but what is the immediate next steps?
Yeah, I think immediate next steps are definitely one to, now that we have launched this product, we have seen that our prices are very competitive, to now grow the protocol, grow our like make sure that it reaches all the right people, all the right users in the DeFi space. Secondly, we are talking with all the major aggregators. We want to get aggregated. We want to get integrated to all the major aggregators. That is also something which we are working on. I think that is good because once we do that, a lot of the volumes of the aggregator will go through DeFyN, since a lot of our prices are very, very competitive. So those are two immediate next steps. One more thing which we are doing is our concentrated liquidity that protocol is almost ready. We have given it for audit. So once that is done, which should take some time, we will be launching that part as well. So that will have concentrated liquidity as well as on-chain limit orders. So that is the next feature which will be rolled out. We are very excited about that as well. So we believe that RFQ in tandem with concentrated liquidity pools can be a very efficient solution for our techs, and that is what we want to be in the near to medium term.
Got it. So basically, now using RFQ model, we at DFYN we are providing the very competitive prices, almost we can say the best prices sometimes, and now we are integrating with the aggregators like 1inch Paraswap, so that the volume will start flowing through DFYN. So traders, if you are looking for best prices, I'll say, like, just have a look at DFYN. We have made some amazing changes in our current amazing changes, and some amazing new updates are also coming up, like Sajal said, concentrated liquidity. So yeah, so I'll say, like, if you are a trader doing a lot of trades, just check out DFYN. I think you will get amazing prices. And moving on, so we have already covered that DFYN emission will decrease, and the fees that we will accrue using RFQ and concentrated liquidity will be used to buy back and burn DFYN token. Is there anything else, Priyeshu or Sajal, you want to tell to our community?
No, I think we have covered pretty much everything, and it's best to conclude the session now. And we'll be hanging around in our Telegrams, Discord. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to contact us.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.